Was critically burned and taken to the University of Michigan Medical Center. Bodies of the victims have been taken to a temporary morgue set up at a hangar at the airport. And that's where Tiwa Chang is for this live report. Tiwa?
Well, Verge, we're standing by the Nomad's airplane hangar, which is being used as a temporary morgue. It's at the northern end of the airport to bring in the bodies and identify those people from Northwest Flight number 255.
They're not letting anybody in, so I don't know where I stand.
The airline wouldn't tell you anything?
No, it's just that we got information that the bodies are in Nomad, but they won't let me identify or find out where my husband really is.
So at this point, you don't know?
No, I don't know. I'm just hoping against hope there is one survivor.
Well, at the crash site itself, weary workers arrived at daybreak to begin the grim task of searching for bodies and pieces of the plane. Our Joe Bell has been at the crash site all night, and he joins us live now to tell us what's been happening today. Joe?
Well, Sherry, after a very long night here at the crash site, the feeling in the air is one of apprehension and bewilderment, mostly because no one quite understands how and why that happened. Jim Zingman just said goodbye to his girlfriend about a minute before the plane hit.
I saw the plane come through from underneath the viaducts, and huge ball of flame. The first thing I thought, she was dead. And I guess she just made the light at Wick and Middlebelt, and the explosion pushed her car, and she felt the flames. She thought her car was on fire, and she saw debris falling all around her. So all she did was floor it, and if she would have got caught at the light, the red light, she would have been dead.
It couldn't take off, and it was on fire. The whole back end was on fire.
23-year-old Georgia Stevens nearly became a ground victim of the Northwest crash. She had just dropped a friend at the airport. The jet nearly hit her car as she approached Middle Belt Road on I-94.
They were just big hunks of everything laying on the expressway part over there. And it's something that'll stay in my mind forever. It doesn't go away.
After the crash, authorities brought relatives of some of the victims to the airport Marriott Inn. They were consoled there by ministers and counselors and provided with telephones to contact other relatives.
Some of the relatives of victims from Phoenix should be getting on an airplane fairly soon. They're expected to arrive here shortly after 3 o'clock this afternoon, and they will probably be taken here to the Marriott Hotel as well to get some psychological assistance and help identify their loved ones.
Our Bruce Kirk has been covering the story from out west, and he has this live report from CBS affiliate KTSP in Phoenix. Bruce?
Thanks, Verge. This is certainly not the way that Monday morning was supposed to start in Phoenix. Can you see the headlines of the Arizona Republic, the Phoenix-bound jet that crashed in Detroit? This is what everybody is obviously talking about in Phoenix this morning.
WJBK dedicated its entire noon news to the plane crash. We condensed their 30 minutes to just 3.5 minutes. We, however, have a crew in Detroit, and they will be filing their own story on our 5, 6, and 10 p.m. reports. Newsday will continue in just a moment.
Northwest Flight 255. It hurtled to the ground in Detroit last night, a fireball, racing across buildings and highways, destroying everything in its path. 152 people killed, including 3 crew members from Minnesota. The story leads today's 5 p.m. report.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Cindy Hilger is sitting in today for Pat Miles. Witnesses in Detroit are saying the crash site is one of the most gruesome things they've ever seen.
Flames lighting up the sky, bodies strewn all along the road, wreckage everywhere. Alan Cox is standing by live in Detroit now at the crash site. Alan?
Cindy, as I think you can hear, the flight path that was taken by Flight 255 last night is in use this afternoon. The jet's far above us. Last night, a different story. This is as close as we can get to the site right now. We're several blocks from where Flight 255's ruins were strewn over a half-mile area, under 2 underpasses here in the Detroit area. The flight never had a chance. It was full of fuel, ready for a 1,700-mile flight to Phoenix and on to Southern California, but it never made it further than 1 mile from the airport. In the first hours after the accident last night, conflicting reports among the witnesses, whether the jet craft was in fact on fire before it started striking objects here on the ground, including a car rental building just a few feet from where we're standing now. Those discrepancies among the descriptions of what happened are the subject of an investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board. More than 100 investigators gathered at this location, divided up into 11 teams studying everything from flight path to meteorology. They have not yet released any of their findings to the public. They may do that at about 7 o'clock Central Time tonight. But right now, the scene is fairly quiet, other than the air traffic coming overhead, a number of reporters and photographers standing by, and periodically from the road behind us, ambulances carrying the bodies of the victims, more than 150 of them, to a makeshift morgue about a half-mile down the street from where we're standing now.
Alan, what do you expect to hear from the NTSB tonight at 7?
They are saying they may have some substantive information on exactly what they've determined to have happened. Earlier, they had nothing for us. Among the items, they're going to tell us the results of the preliminary inspection in Washington, D.C. of the flight recorders, whether there is useful information, although not yet what that information is.
I understand there were 3 Minnesota women at the scene last night. Have you been able to talk to them, or do you know what their situation is?
They are going about their business for the Target department store chain this afternoon. They were very close to the scene, felt the heat of the plane as it passed overhead, but they've gotten out of it with only a few cuts and scrapes from hitting the ground.
So they have not been hospitalized. They're all right.
They were briefly treated and released.
All right, Alan. We'll check back in with you later. Thank you very much. Now, Northwest Airlines has issued a statement concerning last night's crash. It was issued by the company's chairman and chief executive officer, Stephen Rothmeyer. Rothmeyer says, quote, "The entire Northwest family of over 34,000 employees is stunned by this tragic loss. With our condolences, we have extended to the families a commitment for every possible assistance." Meanwhile, Northwest has 2 hotline numbers open for those seeking information about the people on board. The Minneapolis number is 726-7140. That's 726-7140. And in Detroit, the number is 313-941-8585.
Northwest Flight 255 was, of course, on its way from Detroit to Phoenix and eventually to suburban Los Angeles. The company is flying relatives from both of those cities to Detroit today. Now, for some additional details on the situation in Phoenix at this hour, reporter Steve Kraft of KTSP-TV in Phoenix. He joins us live via satellite. Steve, awfully nice of you to be with us today.
Thank you. Northwest Airlines has undertaken the sad task of bringing the immediate families of those victims from the valley up to Detroit. The plane left this morning at 7:30 a.m. without incident with 22 relatives. Another flight was supposed to leave just before 9 a.m., but it was delayed due to a problem with the jetliner's hydraulic system. That flight did get off the ground at 1 o'clock this afternoon, 4 hours late. 26 relatives of the victims are on board, now en route to Detroit. 125 of the victims on Flight 255 last night were coming to the Phoenix area, and this was one. Phoenix Suns center Nick Vanos, a 7-foot 2-inch, third-year NBA player with a bright future. Today's Suns players are grieving the loss of their friend and teammate.
Everybody's really sad about it, and Nick was a good friend, and we had played a lot before he went over to the summer league and lift weights together, and just looking forward to this season.
So there's a lot of shock and sadness for all the victims felt today here in the Valley of the Sun.
Steve, can you tell us what Northwest is doing for the family members that they have located and are sending them on to Detroit? What are they doing for them specifically?
Yes, we can. Northwest has assigned 1 employee of their airline for each bereaved family, and they will be accompanying each family and trying to help them.
Steve, do you have a count on how many individuals from your particular area may have been among those on the manifest?
Yes, we do. The latest information we have is 125 people.
My, all right. A very sad day there for you, then. Thank you very much, Steve. As we mentioned a few moments ago, 3 Minnesotans were among the crew members killed in the crash. They are Roberta Rademacher, Ruth Elfering, and Michael Kale. All 3 are from Egan. Caroline Lowe spoke with friends and acquaintances of Elfering and Kale today. She joins us live from our St. Paul newsroom. Caroline.
Well, Don, flight attendants Bruce Effelring and Michael Kale have been roommates in an Egan duplex for the past year. The former Republic Airlines employees had requested that assignment on Flight 255. Both were looking forward to spending time in Southern California during a long layover. Today, more than 15 fellow flight attendants and friends gathered at the Egan duplex to talk about their memories of the young men and to share their shock and grief over the tragedy in Detroit. They are convinced that both men were professionals to the end, making sure the passengers were cared for and comforted in the final moments before the crash. Cale and Ethelring were remembered as fun-loving, outgoing young people in the prime of their lives who loved their jobs as flight attendants. Michael Cale was 34, Bruce Ethelring 23. Several fellow employees we talked to today said the crash had made them more concerned about flying and wondering if the job is worth the risk. Don?
Did you say, Caroline, how long those individuals had been with the airlines?
They both had been there a couple of years, and they had been with Republic initially, and when we talked with their friends, there, as I said, about 15 of them, we spent about an hour with them. They are all fellow employees at Republic. They said they were a very tight-knit, very close group, and they remember these two both as just very friendly people who really enjoyed their job and went out of their way to make flying fun for other people they worked with as well as the passengers.
All right, Caroline, thank you. Of the 144 passengers on board Flight 255, only 10 of them were planning to fly on from Phoenix to a suburban airport in Orange County. As with waiting family members in Phoenix, relatives were taken into seclusion last night and today, where they could wait on word of fate of those aboard. The search for what went wrong begins with the airliner itself. Dozens of federal investigators are combing the wreckage of Flight 255.
They are looking at parts of an MD-80, an updated version of the McDonnell Douglas DC-9. It has a narrower body than the DC-9 and is built to be fuel efficient. A crucial piece recovered from the wreckage is the flight data recorder, a device which records all mechanical systems of the plane continuously and could provide a key to finding out what went wrong. Today, the so-called black box was taken to Washington, D.C., along with the cockpit voice recorder, which should contain a record of what the flight crew was saying in the final moments. The value of those recordings depends on how much, if any, damage they sustained in the crash. Northwest says all the recent reports of labor troubles within the company played no role in this crash, but we have learned Flight 255 was powered by a pair of Pratt & Whitney engines, which records show have been involved in other fatal airline crashes. The engine is called a JT-8D, and back in 1985, 88 people died in two separate airliners powered by the engine. The National Transportation and Safety Board just last April urged the airlines to make a special inspection of the engines, but we should underline it's not yet known if engine problems had anything to do with last night's accident. Now, until last night's crash, by the way, Northwest had one of the best safety records in the airline industry. Among its crashes in past years, one woman was killed and a girl injured when a then Republic plane skidded on a Brainerd runway in January of 1983. And in March of this year, a Northwest Airlink plane crashed at Detroit's airport, killing 9 people. There have been 3 other crashes in the company's history, one in New York in 1974 that killed 3, another in Miami in 1963. Here we're taking a look at them right now. That was the New York crash in December of 1974. In February of 1963, in a thunderstorm in Miami, 43 people were killed, and one in 1963 that killed 101 on board a military charter. Among the incidents troubling the airline in more recent years, the January report of an FBI investigation into the alleged tampering of planes at Twin Cities International, the aborted landing in Milwaukee last May to avoid a mid-air collision with another plane, and reports from Detroit that guards had to be hired to protect ground equipment from vandalism. Last night's crash, by the way, is the second worst in U.S. history, behind the 1979 crash of an American Airlines plane in Chicago, a crash in which 273 people died.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Levitt's big 12-hour sale.
Save 20 to 50%.
On everything in stock.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Levitt's 12-hour sale.
Everybody's talking about it. Nobody sells for less than Southdale Ford Yugo. Nobody. Here's an 80 Mercury Capri, only $138 a month. Come in right now or call 835-5555. I'll cut it in half, make it $69 a month. Or how about this? An 82 Escort, a Ford Escort, $98 a month. You come in right now or call 835-5555. I'll cut it in half, $49 a month, folks. Southdale Ford Yugo, nobody sells for less. Nobody.
Kellogg's is cornflakes. Cornflakes is Kellogg's. Kellogg's and cornflakes are inseparable.
Kellogg's cornflakes has a special taste. There's only one like it.
Kellogg's cornflakes is the original. It is the original and it is the only as far as we're concerned.
Kellogg's and cornflakes is a combination that works.
They don't
Why
need to.
change a good thing?
You never change a good thing. I haven't.
Cornflakes from Kellogg's.
What more could you want from a cereal?
The only way to get free delivery at most stores is to deliver it yourself. But Highland offers free delivery on all major appliances. Just thought you'd like to know. And right now, this Frigidaire refrigerator is just $6.49. It comes with a factory-installed ice maker and Highland's free delivery. Highland, nobody gives you more, and nobody but nobody sells for less.
In other news this day, one of Adolf Hitler's top deputies from World War II has apparently died. Sources say Rudolf Hess died in a Berlin hospital after being taken there from his cell at Spandau Prison, where he was the only inmate. Hess was 93 years old and in very poor health, it's reported. He has attempted suicide 3 times in recent years. A construction accident in Eden Prairie this morning killed 1 man.
A 41-year-old construction worker was buried in a cave-in. The medical examiner is not releasing his name until relatives can be notified, but we do know the dead man lived in Mound. Jim Newman has details.
The site of the accident is a new house under construction at 15416 Village Woods Drive in Eden Prairie. The ground is saturated now, and some observers wondered if wet soil might have contributed to the accident. Shortly before 11 this morning, the victim, working alone in a deep trench, was buried as the walls fell in. Recovery of the body took hours. Backhoes were engaged to lift away tons of dirt and create a safe, cave-in-proof slope for the recovery crew. An Eden Prairie aerial ladder finally lifted the body from the trench shortly before 3 this afternoon. The victim was installing sewer and water pipes in the trench when the 12-foot high walls began to tumble. A backhoe operator just above him screamed a warning, but the dirt was already falling. A carpenter working inside the house heard the shouted warning. He saw the cave-in.
And I heard the backhoe driver yell, "Look out, it's caving." And as I turned around, because he yelled so loud, I could see the dirt just dropping into the hole. And so I had run to the front door area there and looked in, and I could see the ground was just dropping away fast.
Authorities have taken soil samples, which may be used in any legal action resulting from the accident. But work will resume at the site tomorrow. Jim Newman, WCCO Television News, Eden Prairie.
City and state agencies are investigating the cause of the cave-in. A man held up a Loomis armored car this morning outside a Fuddruckers restaurant in St. Louis Park. The suspect, a white male about 35, wearing jeans and a white hard hat, robbed the armored car at gunpoint. He escaped with the green Marquette Bank money bag and the guard's revolver. No word yet on how much money was in the sack. He fled in a light blue, older model Ford heading eastbound.
Attention Minnesota renters and homeowners, this is the last day to apply for your 1986 state property tax refund. The state revenue department says that about 65,000 people eligible for the refunds have not yet filed. The state mails out the refunds within 60 days of filing. The average refund will be about $227 for renters, $156 for homeowners. It's budget time. The city of Minneapolis, Mayor Don Fraser is proposing higher garbage collection fees for homeowners. And there is some good news in the mayor's plan for parents who depend on daycare services. Ava Thompson is here with more on the proposed budget.
Don, this morning Mayor Don Fraser outlined how he thinks the city should allocate its money next year. The $187 million budget recommendation is a 3% increase over this year. The proposal includes new programs for crime prevention as well as some new city fees. For the first time, every Minneapolis home or apartment unit would be slapped with a $5 a month disposal fee. The mayor says the money would cover rising disposal costs to the city, which are expected to increase 36% next year.
To avoid a property tax increase, it is absolutely essential that the council approve a household charge to cover the increasing landfill disposal costs over which the city has no control.
But at least one council member considers the fee unfair.
I am terribly unhappy about his proposal to increase taxes by $60 per year to every single house in Minneapolis through what he calls a trash disposal fee. That's just another word for a tax increase.
The mayor is asking for a shift in metropolitan taxes from a property tax to a sales tax. As a result, the sales tax rate in Minneapolis would increase from 6.5% to 7%.
A lot of our problems should be paid for on a metropolitan basis rather than a city of Minneapolis basis.
Daycare operators, particularly those on the north side, would get some relief from a facility shortage. A $750,000 fund would provide loans and grants for rehab and construction of new buildings. The budget also includes money to hire 4 additional police officers who would concentrate on drug trafficking, particularly crack houses. To help decrease demand, there are funds to train police officers to teach drug education to 6th graders. Now, another new item in the 1988 proposal is an information campaign aimed at promoting the city's livability. Concerned about families moving out of Minneapolis, the mayor is looking at ways to attract new residents. The budget involves, particular item involves $350,000.
Wow, it's a lot of money. Does the mayor expect a lot of opposition to this?
I don't think a lot. I spoke with a lot of the council members this morning, and surprisingly, most of them are very much in favor of some of the things in the mayor's budget. There were a few criticisms, but not very many. I think they were surprised as well.
I guess.
To earmark so much money for the law enforcement against crack houses must indicate that the mayor is more concerned about this than we first thought about the total approach Minneapolis had to this problem.
I think the whole budget is geared a lot toward livability, again, with that promotion of the city, that we need to get at some of the problems that we have in the city of Minneapolis, and that the mayor wants to let people know that he's trying to do something about that, so that this livability issue and people moving out of the city is dealt with.
All right. Well, Ava, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we will be back to check the weather with Bud Kraehling in just a moment.
First of all, we're going to tell you something about the time. Almost 18 and a half past 5.
Songs to sing along with. From the Light FM, FM 103, WLTE. Listen to the Light FM at work all day, at home to take it easy, in the car to unwind, at night and on weekends to relax with a family and friends. Here's how we do it. No boring, sleepy strings, no elevator music, no blasts of rock, just hour after hour of songs to sing along with on the Light FM 103, WLTE.
This October, join WCCO Television and Holiday Travel in California. See San Francisco, Los Angeles, and in San Diego, we'll relax at the tropical Hanalei Hotel. We'll enjoy dinner and a show during our stay at Lawrence Welk Village. 8-day tours depart either October 1st or 29th. For your free brochure, call the WCCO California hotline, weekdays 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. 1-800-826-2266.
A near perfect day.
Oh, sunny.
Beautiful.
75.
Couldn't ask for anything
no.
better.
What made it unperfect?
Nothing really.
Okay.
I said near, I meant perfect. All right, enough.
And some cooler temperatures up along the North Shore with 68 at Grand
chilly.
Marais today. And incidentally, the North Shore is our weather scene at the moment while we talk about temperatures here in the Twin Cities. We are mostly sunny with a temperature at 75 degrees, the humidity at 52%, dew point at 56. Winds from the west at 12 and pressure falling from 29.98. Mostly sunny, the Twin Cities temperature at 75 degrees. It was 28 this morning at Yellowstone Park, so we have some cooler air not only up along the North Shore, but to the west of us. Yellowstone Park at 28, and they finally did warm up to 56. Phoenix was 101. Along the cold front, showers from Texas to western New York today. Rain at Longview, Texas. 93 was their afternoon temperature, and it was sunny in Chicago. Finally, 83, and warm and humid along the East Coast, and 95 degrees at Burlington, Vermont. That's a maximum temperature record for the day. Tonight in the Twin Cities, our forecast for clear to partly cloudy, with the evening temperature at 57, winds west 5 to 15. For tomorrow, we have a slight chance of rain, with the temperature tomorrow going into the 70-degree range. And then the next day or two, we have partly cloudy. It looks like it's going to be sunny for a couple of 3 days here, and hold temperatures in the 70s.
We'll take it. Couldn't ask for much better weather. Thank you.
Stay with us now as the Monday 5 continues. Up next, we're going to go live to the Metrodome.
That's where the Twins try for a Seattle sweep tonight. And Ralph John will be chatting with one of the hottest twins right now, Spark and Gene Larkin. Stay with us.
I suppose I ought to send this old thing out and get it reupholstered. But I won't give up my comfort for even one day. Just like I won't give up my U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. It looks like this because I use it. It's the only place I find exactly what I want. These U.S. West Direct folks have been around a long time. I use their book because it's the only one I feel comfortable with.
U.S. West Direct, the one that gets used.
Here at Towsley Ford,
And Towsley Subaru,
our hail damage sale continues.
we sold hundreds of the over 800 cars and trucks damaged by hail.
And still hundreds more to sell, new and used.
Don't let this chance slip by. A little hail damage means a lot of money saved for you.
Hail damage prices plus 1.9% financing.
And factory cash back up to $1,500.
Hail damage prices are clearly marked on everything at Towsley Ford.
And Towsley Subaru, White Bear Lake.
Don't miss the action this fall on WCCO-2. Live high school sports action returns, including the best games, the best teams, and the best matchups in football, basketball, and hockey. The top metro area teams, including the Lake Conference, battle for honor on WCCO-2.
Most hot dogs don't quite make it to the end of the bun, so you're left with the end of the bun.
Here you go, Ralph.
That's why Hillshire Farm created bun-size wieners. Kids like them because they taste great. Moms like them because they're made with quality cuts of beef and pork. And they're longer, so they fit the bun better. You get a bite of hot dog for every bite of bun.
Sorry, Ralph.
Bun-size wieners from Hillshire Farm.
Just look for this nice young man on the label.
Well, pennant fever has caught on, obviously. We're going to be talking a little later, in fact, about some tickets that are going to be printed up. RJ is standing by with one of the guys responsible for all that fever.
We'll talk about the tickets later. Right now, yes, we have Gene Larkin with us, and he has to go in a hurry. So we're going to go to the videotape and talk about this young man who is a rookie with the Minnesota Twins. Gene, we're going to show you, first of all, the home run against Milwaukee, then a double yesterday. You've been swinging a hot bat. Is it tough playing just the designated hitter role?
It's a little harder than playing a position, but, you know, I'm used to it. I've been doing it all year now. I did it a little in the minor league, so it's pretty much adjusted for me now.
What are you doing to keep sharp?
I go into the locker room and ride a bike, maybe run the stairs just to make up a sweat.
Okay, this team can go all the way?
Yeah, we just got to play well. We're a 4-game lead right now. We keep playing like we have been playing. We should have no problem.
Okay, good luck. Keep up the good work, and we'll let you go take your cut.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Gene Larkin, he had to go, and they don't want to miss those cuts in the batting cage, needless to say. The Twins are going against Seattle tonight, of course, here at the Dome, 7:05, and the Twins have a chance to sweep the Seattle Mariners, same thing that they did to the Oakland A's, and if they could, they, of course, would stay in pace with those Oakland A's. Oakland is now 4 back. Think what a difference this series makes. Seattle came in here. Had they won the last 3 games, they would only be 2 games behind the Minnesota Twins at the time. As it is, they are 8 back, and we have the magic number for you, Don. There it is. The big 4-0 right now.
Just have to win 40 out of the next 42.
40 of the next 43, and no one can touch the Minnesota Twins.
RJ, from here we're going out to Detroit. It's going to be a little tougher out there because that's a rallying ball club, and they've got some tough pitching help. But we've got Joe Niekro coming out Tuesday out of that suspension. Is he going to be used on the Detroit stand?
He will be used in that series, right. Mark Langston, who's 13-9, is the ace of the Seattle staff. He won 17 a couple of years ago as a rookie, and he will be going tonight, so it should be a tough one to sweep here for the Minnesota Twins. But as we said, it's a very big game, a very important game for Minnesota. And incidentally, coming up later this evening, if you can't get to the ballpark on CCO Radio, CCO Radio must be in trouble. They have Don Shelby doing color for them tonight of all that. Is that right, Don?
Well, yes, only 2 innings.
Okay, and can you give us a sample of, what you might be talking about? Touch them all, Kirby Puckett, touch them all.
I'm going to say touch them all. I hope I have to say that a lot. No, I'm going to say that Mark Langston has 188 strikeouts. You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't. Boy, you're digging them out of the hat.
I just made that up.
Make some more up. We'll be listening to you today.
Okay, Ralph. Thank you very much.
First 2 innings?
Yeah. Well, 3rd and 4th.
All right, we'll be listening. We will be right back to wrap up the Monday 5 in just a moment.
I'll check the time for you one more time. 5:26.
Wellington Window Company, manufacturers for every window need. Choose custom-made Wellington, vinyl or wood, bay or bow, double hung, slider, casement, or choose from the famous Anderson line. Because Wellington is a manufacturer, not a remodeler, there's no middleman to pay. Prices are as low as $68, and service is never a problem. For the Wellington Window Planning Center near you, call 884-9661. Free in-home estimates, too. 884-9661.
Well, Wellington, call now.
You give it your best, so we give you ours, and things keep looking better all the time. New sight, it's a science and an art. You get great color from the start. New sight, when it's coming from the heart. It's the science and the art of painting.
Try the best Lucite ever. New Lucite Premium at all Knox Lumber locations.
It's your choice. 1,000 worth of options free or 1,000 cash back.
Stop! That's good, but what Metro Mazda's got lined up for you is even better. An 87 Mazda 626 Deluxe. Now, Mazda gives you $1,000 cash back on this thing. After that, it's only 87 down, 87 a month for 1987. And look at this. A 1987 RX-7. Mazda gives you $1,000 cash back, then it's only 87 down, 87 a month for 1987 at Metro Mazda BMW, right here today. University Avenue across from Ward's on the Midway.
Join the many investors who have benefited from Webb Arnold Markman's popular investment seminars.
It's got a lot of common sense advice.
We learned about some good ways to help make our money grow.
You worked hard for your money. Learn how to make it work hard for you.
Found out how to get some higher yields.
You're never too old to learn a better way.
Learn how to really win with mutual funds, save on taxes, earn higher yields, beat inflation, and much more. Make your reservation today for Webb Arnold Markman's popular investment seminars.
For the first time ever, the federal government is going to give the go-ahead for human testings of an AIDS vaccine. This, according to a publication known as the Washington Drug Letter, which reports that a vaccine developed by a small Connecticut company will be used on a small number of AIDS victims as soon as it gets the formal approval from the Food and Drug Administration, possibly later this week. And we'll be hearing more about that story, to be sure.
I envy your assignment tonight.
To do the color?
Yes, a little known fact about my own life, if I may. I did some play-by-play with Halsey Hall for a Minneapolis Millers game back in 1936. I was 12 years old.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, I'll tell you, was I the talk of the neighborhood for the rest of the baseball season. Do you have any idea what you're going to have to go there armed with? Were you...
No, but I think that you give some pretty good advice when you criticize some of the play-by-play and color people, that they don't put in context a lot of the statistics they talk about. So I've got about an hour and a half to bone up on every statistic ever developed in the major leagues of America.
And the score. Try to give the score about every minute and a half.
Okay, good.
Tonight at 6, understandably, the latest on the tragic crash of the Northwest airliner in Detroit. Among the reports on the incident, Pat Kessler will disclose past problems with Pratt & Whitney engines, such as those in the plane which crashed last night. Cindy Hilger talked with some passengers at our airport today. Some flew into the Twin Cities from Detroit this morning. They saw the wreckage of that Flight 255. That'll be at 6 tonight. Now, Dan Rather.
Shocks of a nightmare. This was the scene near the Detroit airport where a Northwest Airlines jet crashed moments after takeoff last night, killing at least 154 people.
It's just, you wouldn't believe it. It's just totally destroyed.
Good evening, Dan Rather with the CBS Evening News. It is the nation's second deadliest air crash ever, and today federal investigators joined police, firefighters, and rescue workers inspecting the twisted rubble. The wreckage is in a charred landscape at Chaplin called utter devastation, beyond words. Among the questions in this catastrophe, could an engine problem have caused it, and how did a 4-year-old girl survive the crash?